Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Square One. I'm Dara Daxelmeko, and joining me once again is Luca Sherlock Davari. How are you doing?
Hey! Well, I'm great, I've just been back from the supermarket where I bought food. Apparently, I need it to survive, but
It's a good thing
the
to
only
have.
thing I truly need is the fuel of the only fuel I truly need is the thrive that gives me a square one quarterfinal.
Oh,
So,
Square One quarterfinal is good for the heart and soul. Keeps you going,
yeah.
sustains you a little bit. But we do have CBA versus Team Alpha. As you said, in this quarterfinal, in a best of three, they want to be the one that goes through to fight either against Royal Reapers or Glorious Gaming in the semifinal next week. Who do you think that will take it, even if you just go off of the players alone?
Yeah, so going down the rosters, maybe we should introduce the players a bit because there are many roster changes from the regular season. So on the side of CBA, today they are playing with Galenha Optimista, with Kingen in the jungle, OG Poulsen mid, Vanguard and Can't Stop Duck in the support as the support. On the side of Team Alpha, we have Parker in the top lane as always, and this one is a big change. We have Emittler in the jungle instead of Piney's Pineapple. OG Whitfish in the mid lane, Noah and Alone are the bot laners. So, looking at these rosters, the first thing that strikes me is Emittler. The guy is a support main. He doesn't have a lot of practice in solo queue on the in the jungle position. So, comparing him to Piney's Pineapple, the guy has been insane on his Zac. He has been super huge on any jungler with a real ganking potential. So if you replace that pillar of the team with a main support, I have to be doubtful about that. I have to. I'm giving credit to this guy, but I am thinking that this is a big weakness for today's match, and this alone gives Team Alpha puts Team Alpha in the underdog position for me. I think that CBA have a lot more of individual talent on the line, and just from the players, I think this is going to be in CBA's favor.
Well, we'll just have to wait and see as we will be going into Champion Select in the next few seconds. But you were saying before we came on cast that we're expecting a slow early game, focus on the AD carry positions because we have Vanguard obviously in the AD carry position for CBA and then Noah for the side of Alpha. And you were saying that there's a lot of focus going to be put on a Vayne priority, especially with the name Vanguard. It's kind of a little bit obvious that bit, but you're saying that a lot of bot lane will be the focus.
Yeah, you have Vanguard, the self-proclaiming Vayne ultimate player. On the other side, you have Noah, the guy who wants to be Kratos, the one who kills the Vanguard. So the Vayne pick in this draft will be high priority, and since CBA have picked blue side for the first game, they are obviously not going to ban Vayne. The guy has 2 million mastery points on the pick, so he will grab it if it's free.
I don't think he plays Vayne at all. 2 million, pff.
Yeah.
Not like the highest mastery I have is like 180,000.
But you are not a pro player in the best amateurish league out there.
Procaster in the best amateur league out there.
Hey, that's even better actually.
Yeah.
Just praising ourselves here. Nothing suspicious to go about.
No judging us, alright?
Yeah. Back to the matchup now. So Vanguard versus Noah. Both of these players want to get their hands on that Vayne pick. Of course, CBA is not going to let it slip through, and we are going to have to see who does ban the Vayne, because even if Vanguard is super confident on that pick, if you are playing against a Vayne main as well, both of these players know the weaknesses of the pick. So even if you manage to lock it in, do you really want to play against someone who perfectly knows how to counter that pick? I think not. I think that maybe you want to ban the Vayne actually if you are CBA, and if you are TAP, banning away the Vayne can be an obvious thing as well. And there we go, first variant from Team Alpha getting that off the table. So we're gonna have to watch for the Vanguard pick that comes next.
Yeah, maybe they don't have anything prepared for that Vayne pick, or they just don't feel comfortable playing into someone that has 2 million mastery points on that Vayne. Since once you get to those 2-3 items, Rage Blade, you have Phantom Dancer, you have all the tools that you need to try and come online at that point, and you're just tearing through the squishies and the tanks alike. And on the side of CBA, they're taking away these team fights, sort of utility carries of the Cannon and the.
Yeah. So the other bands here are Parker's Cannon. The guy has been super strong on this pick. He's been smashing every top lane and every team fights, most importantly. And now, finally, it is the Brome from Alone. So you end up with Cannon, Xylian, and Brome banned for CBA. And these picks these bans are actually very important. One of the most valuable strength of Team Alpha is their drafting phase, because each of the players from Team Alpha, and well, you used to have Piney's Pineapple Zach as well, have one pick that you must absolutely ban, or else you know that this one player is gonna take over the whole game with his comfort pick. And Xylian, a key pick in the composition when you want to play around that AD carry, and especially considering Wheatfish plays almost everything in the mid lane, sure, banning Xylian makes a lot of sense. Alone has been playing a lot of Braum, and you know what Braum synergizes well with? Lucian and Kai'Sa, and these two picks have been played a lot by Noah, aside from the Vayne and the Tristana as well. Now Vladimir locked in. Both Wheatfish and Parker play the Vladimir, so this one is a flex pick. And we have the Kai'Sa locked in for Noah, very early into the draft though.
Yeah, it kind of shows a little bit more comfortability or flexibility in a way, because they're kind of like saying, we're going to pick the Kai'Sa at this stage in our first rotation. You can put anything into this. You don't have your Vayne. It's almost like a come at me, bro sort of scenario, and they're going to lock in the Varus' response.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking that they wanted to get the Kai'Sa as fast as possible because Vanguard plays some Kai'Sa as well, so they could have feared that he was going to grab it for himself. And you know, I actually like the fact that you lock the Kai'Sa as the second pick on red side, because you don't show the full matchup in the bot lane. So now you can comfortably lock your support and be fine with the way the draft is going for now. You have the counter pick mid. Jarvan might be going jungle, might be going top. You don't know. Going top against the Vladimir, I'm not sure if that's actually a very good matchup for the Jarvan, because you don't have enough kill threat against the Vladimir early in the game to actually snowball him later in the lane. And since Vladimir just wants to farm safely, scale, and then wreak havoc in the backline, just going even in lane versus Vladimir is not actually a win, it is a loss, because Vladimir is always going to do more than you in team fights. So I think that Jarvan would be better off in the jungle for now. And now we're seeing the Galio ban mostly as a support.
You want to get rid of that Wombo combo with the Jarvan.
Yep. And now the Sion ban for CBA. So that is interesting because Parker has been playing, has been known for two picks yet. He's been known for the Cannon and the Sion. And they are considering carefully that Vladimir could go mid. So very well done for them. One thing I wanted to say as well was that if you pick Cassiopeia, you need an aggressive jungler besides you. You want to be able to pressure your lane with a kill threat that Cassiopeia has early into the game, and I think that Jarvan is actually that aggressive jungler. He has a lot of base damages early in the game, and his ganking power is very strong with the flag and drag. That's easy to pull off. and versus a potential Vladimir, that could work actually well.
And the combo with the Cassiopeia of Miasma, with the Flag and Drag and the
Yeah.
Cataclysm, as you said, from the Jarvan. You can't use your Sanguine Pool on the side of the Vladimir, just get out of that. So if you could burn the Flash, then that would make it really easy to
Oh.
gank. But getting a hover with the Twitch, I don't really expect it to be locked in, but maybe it's
Nah,
something that
he's not going to do it.
for Middler. No, it will be the Rek'Sai
Yeah.
instead. So Middler going on a traditional jungle pick, and you were saying that he's the support main, doesn't play a lot of jungle, if anything at all, or any jungle champions. It's going to be interesting to keep a track of him, see how he does in this game.
Yeah, getting the Rek'Sai for himself. So, oh, Mundo. Okay, so that's the pick I'm going to talk about because
Yeah, it's just out of left field.
yeah, Mundo has been super strong for 2 patches now, and no one. Well, I'm saying no one, but some people might actually know it. But Mundo is a super powerful pick since 2 patches. He's been getting buffed after buffs since somewhere in the preseason, and right now the guy can seriously be a pain in the bum. Trying to stay polite here.
Yeah.
The guy is super annoying in the top lane versus any mage top, and he's going to be a Vladimir top, Ornn going against the Mundo in the top lane. So Mundo versus Ornn is actually still a very good matchup. And what makes Mundo a big threat is actually when you combine him with a movement speed boost, and I'm looking for it in the Karma. That's going to provide him going to provide the whole team the what I like to call the mini severe ultimates.
Mm-hmm.
So you actually have a good engage and team fighting with the composition of CBA. You have Mundo that is a super thick front lane to get through. The guy's just gonna regenerate HPs after HPs, and you don't really have that one pick that's gonna blow up a tank in the composition of Team Alpha. So I think that Mundo is actually such a smart pick right now. And you have the Jarvan as well that's gonna be able to lock down either Kai'Sa or Vladimir. Remember that these two carries do not have a dash aside from Kai'Sa's ultimate. But if you have to waste it because of the Cataclysm, you're losing a lot of team fighting power. So it's a lot of zoning. It's a lot of zoning and a lot of control and engages from CBA. They have drafted a strong team fight versus a team that team fights versus a team for who team fighting is the bread and butter. So I'm really liking the draft right now. It's going to be an explosive game.
And that's exactly what we're expecting from our quarterfinalists. And it turns out it will be alone on the Rek'Sai in the jungle, not a Middler. So Middler will be going to a role that he's well used to, being that support main. He's going to be on the Morgana. So it's going to be the Kingen and Alone matchup that we'll be watching Rek'Sai versus Jarvan.
Yeah, so alone as the jungler, it is still supporting a main support as your jungler, but it makes me wonder that if CBA decided to not ban Braum, would it mean that Alone would have been playing support with the Braum? I think so. And when you see so much CC from the side of CBA, and you have that Morgana that's going to be able to black shield your Kai'Sa, it's going to be very important. But when you have the Rek'Sai, think about the pick. Sure, it is very strong right now. It is a top tier jungler. Conqueror is super dope on the pick. And its damages are so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then, look at the enemy team. You have Cassiopeia, Varus, Karma, and you have Jarvan the Fourth. If you go in with the Rek'Sai, what are you going to do next? Because, as I said, you have so much zoning from CBA with the Miasma, the Cataclysm, and the Varus ultimate that Team Alpha's frontline will be in a position where they can actually engage and be zoned out from the rest of their team and they will end up dying because they are 2v5. That is something that I'm looking for CBA to do, and will be the main problem for Team Alpha's front lane. Sure, you have the Orna engage that is very easy to land, but then it's the follow-up that is the problem.
So where are we expecting the early jungle pressure to be coming from? Where we're expecting it to be in the mid lane, or do you think it's more of the bot lane focus, as you said previously, playing around these AD carries?
So first thing first, on the side of CBA, you have Can't Stop Dog, who is Grandmaster, and Vanguard, who is a Master. So sure, solo queue means nothing. LGM has Free Crocs has proven us that their silver jungler works very well in the diamond lineup. But when you have these two guys, plus the Karma and Varus, who have a lot of range, these two champions are very safe down in the bot lane. And I'm expecting that Rek'Sai will try to try to gank more the mid lane than the bot lane, because this blue side of the map is very hard to gank when you are Rek'Sai. I actually like Rek'Sai on the blue side of the map because you can turn around the tri bush in the bot side and come from behind, but it's very hard to do on the blue side of the map. So we have a pause here. Just it's gonna allow me to give you a friendly reminder that first thing we see in a Team Alpha game is an invade. So I want to see if they try to invade now. They have the Morgana, they have the Kai'Sa with the Cathian Rain that can deal a lot of damage to an isolated target. So I want to see if they try to invade right now. It looks like no one is heading for the top side of the map. So it makes me wonder if they are going for it indeed. And if you take a look at the compositions, the level one is, I would say, it's more in favor of CBA, because even if you have the dark binding on the side of Team Alpha, you have Cassiopeia's Jade Fang, and you have the Varus that can pierce with a piercing arrow that's going to deal a bunch of damage to everyone who comes in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking that if we do see that invade, and that CBA is prepared for it, I think it could actually turn in the favor of CBA.
We'll just have to wait and see, and we'll update you guys on the pause and the reason for it as soon as we find out. If we find out, sometimes we don't get told. And there's just a little bit of BM in the chat in the game that they would like us to read out, but I think we'll just leave it for the time being.
Not gonna read that.
They're not even here to defend themselves, guys. You can just chill out a little bit. Concentrate on this series. Maybe I'll go against them some other time. So, what are we expecting in the first few levels? Do you think that they're actually going to commit for this invade with the Morgana?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to do it. Look at the positioning in their base, they're going to do it. Now, one additional reason that I think they should go for the engage is that look at the picks on the solo lanes, on the lanes, etc. You don't have a lot of kill pressure anywhere. Mm-hmm. You have Kai'Sa, Vladimir, Ornn. That's not the picks that you expect to solo kill someone. Ornn sometimes can be surprising, but against the Mundo, that's going to be very difficult. Mm-hmm. So if you do not consider the jungle involvement in the lanes, Team Alpha is gonna have a hard time to be proactive in the early game. Now, Rek'Sai is sure a strong jungler, but you have Jarvan, who is a very strong jungler early in the game as well, and it's all gonna depend onto the itemizations of the itemization of the Jarvan. Most of the time in team, the Cinderhawk build is recommended for the Jarvans, but then it means you don't have any damages anymore, because you even get out damaged by Rakan. We've seen that a couple of times in the LEC. And if he does go for the warrior build, then it means you're gonna get popped off as soon as you go in. So
it sounds like you're saying he's between a rock and a hard place at this point.
yeah, I feel like if Kingen manages to make the pick work in the early game, maybe they can actually try to snowball fast enough so that Team Alpha never reaches the late game, and then you can go for the Warrior Jarvan, trying to find picks here and there. But then again, if you don't manage to get the game in your favor until the minute 10, the 10-minute mark, then I think you should better be going towards a Cinder Hawk build.
Mm-hmm.
So we are waiting for Noah and Kingen to actually connect into the game. They haven't bought items yet, so this is the reason why we're having this pause right now.
Yeah, a little bit of connectivity issues, problem with the Danish internet, apparently.
Oh. Look at what they are. They said they were the kings of esports. Well, they don't even have internet. Haha.
There's a lot of great Danish players, though, to be fair.
Yeah, but how are you gonna play League if you cannot?
And a lot of washed up ones too. So.
Sure they are.
There are a lot of washed up Danish players. Well, I'm sure you have at least 3 at the top of your head.
Washed up Danish players?
Yes.
Can I flame?
Yes. Yes, exactly. Bjergsen was the first one I thought of. Sorry, Bjergsen. Not that you'd be watching this, but I'm sorry, friend.
Well, at least he'll be watching it from home.
True, he has internet. But we are into the game for...
I'm disappointed they didn't go for the invade. Come on, it was your best opportunity to actually get a kill early in the game.
There was a little bit of damage done by Galena, okay? He threw out a cleaver, got a little bit of damage on the packet.
Here we can see that Mundo is going in the top side of the map, trying to spot out the Rek'Sai path. If they manage to land a ward here, I'm surprised he did not. He decides to go back. They spotted them out, so they actually know that Rek'Sai is not starting on the top side of the map, so that's going to be a useful information for Kingen to path his way in his own jungle.
She seems to be starting off on the wolves instead, a ping coming out as well from the side of CBA. Might try for the early invade here if he can get a bit of help from the bottom side, but interesting that the top laners decided to wait around this pixel brush and get some damage down onto each other, rather than going actually to the lane.
Yeah, if you have the better level 1, that is the thing to do. You're already blowing up one shot of corrupting pot. Now the Ornn is actually gankable. Oh.
Yeah, a lot of damage down.
Flag
and drag alone. It's not really alone here. He has to try.
You don't have a red buff.
Auto attack. The heal gets used with the bottom lane coming in. Flashes away. Gets away from the Mantra powered Q. Might be able to pick up another kill here, but Noah could be in a little bit of trouble. Vayngod trying to find the damage. Throws out another Mantra powered Q. Vayngod so low. Use the flash and the heal, trying to get away, but Noah picks up another kill for his team. Can't stop Duck. Has to try and get away. Doesn't want to give up a third one. Misses the binding. Icathian Raid secures the double kill.
And there we go! Kratos solo kills the Vayngod! Well, not solo kill actually, but you get my point. I just want to mystify him a bit. Oh my!
That's 2 kills, not even 3 minutes into the game. Noah on this Kaisa has 2 kills, burnt the heal and the flash from the bottom side. Vayngod still has his flash though. Maybe he disrespected a little bit the damage that could have come out from Noah and Middler. But now you're up 10 CS, you have that 150 gold bounty, you have those 2 kills, and you have a kill on the Rek'Sai. You're sitting pretty at this point.
Yeah, right now the Team Alpha is in such a good position. Like, I was saying that Noah's greatest weakness was that he wasn't shining in the laning phase, and usually he was coming behind out of the lanes, and only then in the mid game transition finding kills. Right now, I don't think that 3.5 minutes is the mid game, so
It's a very early game at 3.5 minutes.
Yeah! Very early mid-game transition. But the guy already has a longsword and a Kirsch's shard. So, can you consider mid-game? No, just kidding. The guy is immediately proving me wrong, getting 2 kills right off the bat of this action. Kingen is strangely decided. So the guy decided to go for an invade. He knew that Rek'Sai was starting on the bot side of the map, and he actually went in for the invade, thinking that Rek'Sai would have done the blue buff. Now Alone was actually buffless because he started at his wolves, and King was winning the trade, but it was not accounting for the bot lane pressure, and because the bot lane of CBA had to pull, and Noah and Emitter were right on the lane because the Rek'Sai started on her wolves. It meant that the early pressure on the lane was in the favor of Team Alpha, and there you can see exactly how lane pressure can change a game around, because they got these 2 kills because they were able to roam before the enemy bot lane.
Yeah, definitely all about that bot lane priority, and it was actually something that I mentioned as they were starting off on that leash in the bottom side. He can go for the invade if he has the help of his bot lane. He didn't have the help of Vayne God or Can't Stop Duck.
Yeah.
And on the other side, Alone had the save from the heal from Noah, had the flash available for himself as well, so he was able to piece out, get a kill for himself beforehand, and get 2 kills for his AD carry.
And it sure feels bad as Kingen because right now, Varus and Karma, they have the push because of the piercing arrow and the AoE damages coming in from the Karma and the Varus pick. So you know that bot lane is always going to be pushed, and since you do not have enough stats early in this game, hold on. Rek'Sai in the bot lane, looking for something, not going to find any opportunity yet. So yeah, because the bot lane is going to be pushed most of the time, it's going to be super hard for Kingen to actually find a way to punish the lack of 2 summoners on the Kai'Sa. Kingen trying to find something in the mid lane, but Alone is near.
Yep. Both junglers towards this middle lane, although Alone is kind of backing away a little bit, gonna get some vision with Scar's Bloom. And Kingdom actually wasting a lot of time towards this middle lane, and it's not really doing anything for him.
Well, looking at the map, he only has his Gromp available right now. The rest of his camps are respawning, so he might want to stop looking in the mid lane. There we go, he's going to grab his red buff. So Kingen just got his level 5 from sitting in that bush in the mid lane. One rule of the jungle is that on your at the timing where your second buff respawns, I mean the first time the red buff respawns, if you are if you are not level 5, you're having a bad game. And if you consider that Kingen just got his level 5 from the mid lane, he is indeed coming in at his red buff somehow at level 4. So you can definitely see the advantage in CS growing in the jungle.
Yep, there is a little bit of an advantage there for Alone, but he did just pick up his level 5 as well, so he's slightly behind on that XP. As you mentioned, Kingen picked up a little bit extra experience towards that middle lane, so we'll have a slight advantage over his jungle opponent there. There's about 500 gold difference in total between
Starting the Drake.
This is a very early Drake. Can be contested potentially by Alone and the rest of his
You don't have
squad.
enough damages for that.
Horn gets called, and will get the knockup. Actually misses the knockup onto everyone. Sanguine Pool gets used to avoid the petrifying gaze. Gets a little bit of health back from his ultimate as well. Flag comes in, doesn't get the dragon until now. Will steal away the Drake. Here's the team fight. They will pick up the first kill of it, but Paka should be going down here. He will be going down to Gallia. But Gallia get out. No, he cannot. That's a double kill coming through for Noah, as Poulsen has to flash over the wall to safety. Miasma should be able to get him away here if Alone uses his ultimate and might be able to close the gap. Doesn't see him quite yet.
He wants it.
Get it. Yep, he goes for it. We'll trade tower for now. One more hit. No, he will not pick up the kill. Void Seeker secures it.
Oh my god, Alone. Alone?
Alone is Alone. That's exactly it. He might even die to these wolves if he's not careful. Flag and drag. He's not even going to get the wolf. Cataclysm just dunks him.
Oh my! I was about to praise him, but that interrupt just gets Kingen back into the game.
It
Not
just
as much as
completely
the
helped
four.
him.
Yeah.
Thanks for the leash, my friend.
Thanks for the leash and the shutdown. The guy was 4-0-2, and right now Kingen just got that, so he's gonna be back into the game. He just bought his Bammy Cinder, so he's going for the Cinder Hulk Jarvan, meaning the shutdown is not as valuable as it would have been on another member. Ah, God, so much action recently.
And it was all in favor of Alpha up until just then, when Alone was completely alone in that jungle. He was such low health. He knew that Kingen was back up having respawned. He just
Yeah.
disrespected the amount of time that it takes to get to his jungle, or the potential that Kingen can follow up and actually brave his own jungle.
Oh, getting a bit low, but
Ooh,
you
that's
have the
actually a lot of
ultimate available,
damage.
so...
Pop Paka is in his minion wave, might be able to trade it back here if he can get enough damage down. One more cleaver will secure a little bit of more damage, but won't secure the kill.
Yeah, just tank matchups in the top lane. So I want to backtrack a little bit to where this huge play started. It was because Noah and Emitter were getting super low from the poke of the CBA bot lane. So they had to recall, and CBA was like, okay, they recalled, our jungler is here, we can start the Drake. But you actually misunderstood the map, how the map laid out exactly. Because the mid lane
They're coming for a gank on the top side, called the Forge Gods Connect. We'll get the knockup. That's the damage through from Alone, and that is, as you said, an easy kill.
Oh my, Alone is completely snowballing. I feel like you could have helped him push here. Going instead for his cross.
No teleport available, but Flag and Drag is available for Kingen on the bottom side. Shut down, gold goes over to the Vanguard, and a Metaler goes golden just to buy a little bit of time. Doesn't have his flash available. Should be another kill going over. Double kill secured by Vanguard. Now starting to snowball a little bit better on this Varus, and those two kills early on didn't do too much to help out Noah.
Yeah, these two kills are gonna give him some space to breathe. And you can see that despite Noah having 3 kills early into the game, he's 20 CS down compared to the Varus. So Vanguard is playing that lane to the perfection, despite the early shenanigans that brought him into such a KDA, I would say. Meanwhile, Alone's finding something in the top side of the map, getting the Herald for himself. This time, I want to see the Herald before 14 minutes. Because last game of the regular season, you had Sea Dogs who grabbed Sea Dogs versus Team Alpha. They grabbed the Herald at 11 minutes and they laid it down. Oh, finally the Flag and Drag, the bump.
Release the Sanguine Pool. Can he get away? Has his flash. Goes golden. Buys a bit of time. Ooh, gets away from the Petrified Gaze. Uses the flash, but gets the slow. Flag and Drag will secure the kills. A Mettler is nearby, but can't do too much to help out.
Yeah, and that is the kill pressure we were talking about. The Cassiopeia into the Vladimir with the aggressive jungler. Hang on.
Flag and Drag safety. Can they follow up though? Has the ult available to try and secure any kills or close the gap, and he'll just have to peace out. Takes a couple of tower shots for good measure and gets quite low, but doesn't give up his life.
That's a lot of roaming for not finding anything yet.
So much trading, so much skirmishing as Noah just gets blown up by the Vanguard. Piercing arrow pierced his heart. He goes down yet again. 3-2 now with this Varus. Vanguard starting to look pretty scary.
Yeah, I mean the guy is salvaging his laning phase a lot there. I was saying, yeah, so Vanguard has a good laning phase, Noah is weak, and then Noah finds kill in the mid game transition. This time is the other way around. The teams are trying to play their opponent's playstyle. It looks like.
Well, the 20 CS speaks a lot of difference between these two AD carries. Anyway, they pick up another Drake. That's only going to be a Cloud Drake, but will help with rotations. And Alone off to the side now in the middle lane. Again, has his Void Rush available, but not sure they're going to go for it. Actually going to try for it. Gets the knockup. Actually misses the knockup with Flash Arm Burrow, but does get the Flash out Pulse.
Oh no, that's a big waste of a Flash.
He got the flash out of Pulse, so it's flash for flash. It's not as bad as it could have been. He could have just walked it out.
Yeah, but you know the Cassiopeia flash, even though you can flash ult, it is not that useful until you hit the team fights, you know. But the Rek'Sai flash, however, I feel it's not worth to it's not that worth to trade flash for flash as a Rek'Sai, because that flash should result in a kill. Your best your best power spike in the game is in the early game, especially when you are 5-1 and 2, and wasting your flash not getting anything back, especially when you think that Cassiopeia into Vladimir is not gonna be able to kill that Cassiopeia on his own. So taking it.
Corruption comes down. This should be a secured kill. Flashes away. One more auto attack will do it. Vanguard will pick up that kill. Here comes the teleport. Another teleport as well matched on either side. Vanguard in a lot of trouble. Will be shut down courtesy of the Rek'Sai. We'll call the Forge God connects onto 2, gets a knockup, but they're going to trade one back. Use the Cataclysm. Flash away to safety. And they're going to take down the Jarvan. The Ornn gets taken down by the Jarvan as the double kill comes through. He fishes off to the side, though. Kingen cut out a little bit here, but they take down the tier 1 tower. They're 4-man unit strong against 2.
For now, CBA are demonstrating a very coordinated playstyle right now. We've seen them packing towards the Drake, even though it turned badly for them in the end. Right now, it was a 4-man bot, so here they are showing how good of a team they are. They know how to play together and coordinate their jungle pathing with the pressure they have in the mid lane. They actually use the pressure they have in the lane and the TP advantage to get moves in their favors. And even though they started the game with a 1k gold deficit at 3 minutes, which is nuts, they actually came back, and now at 15 minutes they are standing on a very healthy 3k gold lead. So game 1 of this series is actually a show of power for CBA.
And that's such a sad Rift Herald as well. Didn't use it pre-14 minutes, so won't use it to get a lot of tower plates. And it's actually not going to get any damage down into towers because he popped it at his Krugs. It's just going to be destroyed by Vanguard. Every lane seems to be losing now on the side of Alpha. They're down by a lot of CS in the top side, 40, 45 odd CS. Bottom side, it's about 25 difference, 40 difference almost in the middle lane as well. So it just feels like they're being outclassed, out-rotated. And even though, as you said, they were down by 1, 2, 3,000 gold in the first 2 or 3 minutes, they went from 2-8 to 9-8, and now they're 4,000 gold ahead.
And now I am very angry. Remember what I said about that Rift Herald? Why do you always use that Rift Herald after the turret platings are gone? If you pick it at 11 minutes, that doesn't make any sense.
It's because they don't like you, Sherlock. I think they want to annoy you.
Yeah, I think that they just find their pleasure in my agony, you know. Okay, so right now we have CBA playing heavily towards the top side of the map. Sure, with that strong of a bot lane, you want to pressure the side lanes, be able to get the tier 1 towers, unlock the map for your Jarvan to play, and this will... Oh!
Corruption do connect. Vanguard is the target here. Piercing Jarvan comes through with the flag and drag, but Void Rush gets used as well. Noah will pick up the kill on the Vanguard, but they're going to trade one back, picked up by Can't Stop Duck. Now the top lane is wailing on each other on the bottom side. It looks like the Ornn is getting the best of the Mundo.
Well, let's talk about the top lane matchup, but just after what happened right here. So it was a 3 versus 3, but the fact that Rek'Sai has so much damages, it allowed them to actually get the better of Vanguard because he was in front. If you paid attention during that play, you would have noticed that Kingen was actually a lot further from the fight that Alone was. So it means that Alone got his burst out super fast, and suddenly Vanguard was gone. And because the Rek'Sai ultimate makes you untargetable for a short amount of time, he dodged the damage from the Cataclysm, meaning that Jarvan couldn't actually get the kill onto him. Especially with Nice Vow and Cinderhawk in your build. So for sure, they had the weakest 3v3 at this exact moment, and TAP saw it, and when Vanguard decided to go in, they turned it around, and it was very well played. Last tier 1 turret to fall now in favor of CBA. They are doing such a good job at trying to snowball this game. look at that, the zoning that we were speaking of earlier, they have a perfect control of where they want to play. Even though sometimes it doesn't turn in their favor because of the amount of negation of teamfight negation from Team Alpha with the Black Shield, with the Own Charge that can destroy the Jarvan's Cataclysm, and also the Vladimir Sanguine Pool. CBA are doing a really great job at laying down vision wherever they want to play, identifying the objectives they need to set up their game plan, and right now they are actually prepping the map for the Baron. Take a look at the side wave; they are all pushing for CBA. They have a line of vision that goes all throughout the map. So does Team Alpha, but this one is a defensive line of vision. So that means whenever the Baron spawn, CBA has the advantage all over the map, and not only because of their gold advantage.
Yeah, definitely setting up for this Baron, which will be spawning in the next 30 seconds or so. But they've had such dominating vision control, such dominating objective control. They have all 3 Drakes. They have 5,000 gold lead. They have 3 towers to nothing taken by the side of Team Alpha, and it just feels like they're being choked slowly out of this game, even after the early advantages that they got. But what can they do now to try and get back into this game, maybe get a bit of a gold advantage for themselves?
I feel like if you want to get back into the game, you have to play around the vision. Sure, you don't have the control of it, but if you manage to draw CBA into your own territory, which we've seen them do a couple of times now in this game, you can actually get a good team fight, make a catch, and then team fights with the number advantage. And oh, they started the Baron.
Yep, it's down to half health now. Actually gonna immediately peel away. They know that their window is in the bottom side. King's Corruption comes down. Sanguine Pool immediately used to try and piece out. Uses the flash as well for good measure. Vanguard follows up with his flash of his own. Call the Forge God comes through as well, but on the side, Kingen uses the Cataclysm onto 2. Vanguard goes down to Mittler, and the Karma gets taken down as well, but alone is all on his own. Paka pieces out, doesn't save his jungler. Goodbye, my friend. And the Ornn, he's a sacrificial lamb as well as the double kill comes through for Paulson, and a team fight that was so in favor of Team Alpha ends up in favor of CBA.
Starting in the favor of Team Alpha, I wouldn't say so that much because initially it was Wheatfish that got called, so sure it's a Vladimir, but then you are right because it started to turn into Team Alpha's favor with Alone wreaking havoc in the CBA backline, but because on the other side of the team fight you had Poulsen and Vanguard shredding through the carries of Team Alpha. When they were done with them, they just turned around to the Rek'Sai, Morgana, and the Ornn, and they were like, okay, where's your damages now? How are you gonna kill us? And they just picked out the members that didn't have an answer. So
Ornn isn't exactly known for his high amount of damage.
Are you kidding me?
That guy has known as that hard carry top laner.
60% max health, W.
Just does stupid damage. But he's not known as something like the Vladimir where you have the 1/4 outplay or something.
Speaking of the Ornn, I wanted to mention that top lane match was just really fast. I was a bit disappointed because Jarvan didn't actually take advantage from what Mundo managed to do early into the game, where we saw him chunk Ornn heavily even before he went to his lane. So that means he had the top pressure, but CBA actually did not get anything out of it. And now it's an engage.
Go for the engage. Call the Forge God connects. Noah just easily picks up that kill, even though Chain Disruption were used defensively, and Vanguard gets out. They did find a pick onto Can't Stop Duck. This gives them some pressure to establish vision around this Baron.
Yeah, when you have the on horn, the Void Rush, the Void Missiles, and the Dark Binding, it's a lot of long distance engage. So sure, Can't Stop Duck getting caught here.
They've locked themselves into this Baron pit.
Yeah.
If they're not careful, they can use the combo, but lands the Miasma down as well as the Petrifying Gaze. Poulsen is still in a lot of trouble here. He gets shut down by Alone. Kingen is going to be the target as well. He comes to Cataclysm onto 2. He's going to be taken down anyways. Paka, he's going to be knocked into the grave as Noah tries to take down Vanguard, to successfully do it. Mittler will be going down. Instead, the double kill for the Mundo. He's just so tanky with so much health. Weedfish and Noah gonna try 2 versus 1 him. Can't Stop Duck is on the flank, finds the damage there. Can't Stop Duck picks up that kills Weedfish. Has to use the Sangoku to try and get away, but he should be going down here eventually. He's the Tides of Blood, but the ace does come through.
Oh my god, remember when I said that Mundo was going to be having a blast in this game because Team Alpha did not have anything to make him fall? Remember when I said that they didn't have a tank shredder in their team? Well, that just happened, guys. Like, Mundo, 1v4, then with the Karma reinforcement behind, 1v4, takes 2 kills, then Karma comes in, takes 2 other kills. Wow! Well, that's a tanky Mundo.
He has 2 items, he really doesn't care at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the guy doesn't need damages. He had so much buffs recently made to him, with the W getting him so much magic damage resistance. Remember that Kaiser has a lot of AP damages, of magic damages. The Vladimir as well, lots of magic damages, so you can't really make him fall.
Chain's Corruption lands onto 2. That's just gonna be a Cataclysm to take him out as Call the Forge God does nothing to save his life. The Karma Powered movement speed comes through as well. The double kill secured by Pulse, and they're looking for more here. That's a 4th kill coming through for CBA with the Baron of Powered minion push. It's only Noah alive to try and defend.
They do not even need to run at them. Team Alpha are serving themselves here. It feels like they are mentally surrendering this game right now.
Yeah. It's all about the next game though. How do you keep that mental fortitude? You have another 2 opportunities potentially to try and come back to the series. You have to get the next 2 wins to actually make it through to the semi-final. But with such an early gold lead in such a domineering fashion that CBA came back into this game, and it's going to be a very hard task and very uphill task for the side of Alpha.
Yeah, actually, Darkseid, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how you come back from such a game. I mean, imagine you are Noah, you started this game 2-0-1 on a late game hyper carry, and then you proceed to lose the lane, then you proceed to lose the game.
Yeah.
With your Rek'Sai at one point in the game being 5-0-2. I mean, it's gotta be devastating.
And your Vladimir has yet to come online, even with 2 items, the Zhonya's, the Proto Belt, even the Sorcerer's Shoes. He's just not finding any traction in these team fights or even in these 1 versus 1 skirmishes.
Yeah, because those are just 2 items. Look at the enemy team. Every members of the team are 3 items or on their way to get this 3rd item. So, of course that this Vladimir is not going to do much, and we won't see anything from the Vladimir until the 35-minute mark, but by then, the Nexus would have exploded.
Yeah. They just have such... I mean, even if you look at the tower difference between these 2 teams, 6 towers to none. Alpha haven't managed to take 1 tower yet. All 4 Drakes in the pocket of CBA. You have a 10,000 gold difference, 10,500 gold difference. 3 items on every significant carry except for Vanguard, who hasn't backed yet with his 1,100 gold. And then if you look on the other side, on Team Alpha, you're lucky if you have 2 items. You have 2 items on your AD carry, 2 items on your mid laner, yet to get 2 items on anyone else.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at just the overall status of the game, Team Alpha right now, they have nothing for them. You are down 10,000 gold, you have no objectives at all, so you don't even have team fights anymore, even though your team is drafted around team fighting for your AD carry. So, when you have nothing for you, what is left to do? Play smart? I mean, even
sounds so much easier than it actually is.
Yeah.
It feels to me like the CBA team comp is actually easier to execute because you have the Chains of Corruption from Vanguard, you have the Flag and Drag and the Cataclysm from Kingan, and then you just use Pulson and Can't Stop Duck to just get all this AoE damage down, and you just have the unkillable tank in the Mundo that just tries to suck up as much damage as possible, whereas on the side of Alpha, sure, you have Alone with the Void Rush available, you have the entrance with Noah's Killer Instinct, and you have the Call of the Forge God from P.A.K.A., but it just feels like as if you need to be far more coordinated on the side of Team Alpha to actually make it work and make it pay off.
Yeah, but they proved to us that they can do it. Remember when they picked Karma up at the near the Nash's pit? That's what I want to see them do again. I want them to concede some pressure on the lanes. Meanwhile, get the vision in the jungle and hope for a catch. That's the only thing you have left. And if CBA just group up onto a lane and do not venture anywhere near the jungle, I don't see how you are gonna push them away from your nexus. So when I say play smart, it's not just play smart, it's pray for the enemy to make a mistake.
Yeah, and hope you have enough wave clear to actually push out these super minions as well. Is the super minions are going to be doing so much work for CBA when you're fighting them that
Yeah,
you have
also
to have one or two people responding to that. Then you're in 3 versus 5.
also remember that these Baron minions are empowered and they are much more tanky.
Mm-hmm.
And because you have a lot of magic damages, and in fact, to actually wave clear on the side of Team Alpha, you have to get close to the wave, but you cannot do that. As soon as you get near just a melee minion, there's a miasma coming down. There's the Varus ultimate coming onto you. So you cannot do that. So I'm wondering if this game is not gonna close out in the 2 next minutes after this pause.
I would be pretty surprised if it didn't close out in the next
Yeah.
2 or 3 minutes. Because they have the inhib taken in the middle lane, they have pressure in the bot and the top, they have the Baron empowered minions, as you already said. It's going to be so hard for Alpha to try and defend one lane, yet alone 2 or 3.
Yeah, so this game is basically over. Then, as you said before, it is all about the next game then.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is with the players right now do not have the time to think about next game. So just hopefully they will think about it during the small break, if there is any. I believe there is one.
Yes, I believe there will be.
Yeah. So what do you change in your composition? Because you got seriously outdrafted here.
Mm-hmm. So, what's the weak point in the Alpha draft, in your opinion?
To me, I would say the all into the Mundo was a pretty big mistake.
Yeah.
If you know that Mundo is going top lane, there is no other lane that this pick can go. I mean, support, sure, that's Iron 5. There is no Iron 5. Iron 4, that's some Iron 4 pick right there. So
Yeah.
Mundo's definitely going in the top lane. Actually, I'm wondering, haven't we seen some Mundo jungle in solo queue before?
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen.
Yeah, it's been a while. So picking that on, I do not really understand why you would automatically lock a losing matchup as a red side. As I said before, Team Alpha is all about the draft, and you want to come out of the drafting phase with as much counter matchups as possible, and they did exactly the opposite for the top lane. Sure, you want to have a huge engage tool in the top lane.
They go for the engage here. Flash from Weedfish comes through. Will not get anything though. Noah picks up that kill, resurrecting with the GA now on the side.
Rain God is free.
Noah is going to go down. Poulsen picks up that kill for himself, going with the killing spree as Alone is onto the backside, but he'll be taken out immediately. Double kill comes through for Poulsen. Paka in a lot of trouble. Triple kill comes through. That's a double kill coming through for the Vanguard, as well as the ace gets secured for one death on the side of CBA. That will be the first game going in favor of CBA, and you have to think, what can Alpha do in the second game to come back in this series?
That's pretty depressing.
You know what's depressing is that the Mundo was taking
Mundo
shots from the fountain laser, and he just
I was actually looking at the Mundo the whole time. Like, the guy was standing in the fountain for 4 seconds. I was like, okay, yeah,
literally
sure.
just popped his ult. He's just shrugging it off like as if it's raining.
Ah, gosh.
So
if the guy can take up the fountain, how are you ever gonna take him down with this with this composition? That's impossible.
I'm pretty sure you actually couldn't.
No, they could not. I mean, the best argument for that composition to take down Mundo was, okay, Kai'Sa has a health percent damages on her passive. No, it's missing health percent. Mundo's never gonna get low enough for your passive to deal significant damages.
Even with full items, if you got a Blade of the Rune King on Noah as well, it would be so hard for you to take him.
Yeah, and you are never gonna get enough attack speed to actually out damage his ultimate. So the god. And
okay, so you said to change out the Ornn. Don't pick a losing matchup if you're on the red side for
yeah,
your top
do not
lane
pick
or
a
anything.
losing match.
But
At least pick a scaling matchup. You know, if you are going to go for the Ornn, put the Vladimir in the top side and give the counter pick to the mid lane.
yeah, we'll have to see if they can come back into the second game and actually bring it to that third game of the series. But we'll be taking a few minutes break before we'll bring you the second game of the night of CBA versus Team Alpha. Don't go anywhere.
Go grab a snack and just don't forget to tune in for the second game.
It's going to be an interesting one, win or lose. Welcome back to CBA versus Team Alpha. I am once again Dara Darksmacko, and joined also is Sherlock for this
Hello.
next game.
I am still
Hopefully, it
sure.
won't be as much of a stomp as the first one was.
Well, hopefully it won't be as much of a stomp, especially if Team Alpha manages to gain such a huge goal lead again and maintain it throughout the game.
That would be helpful.
Yeah,
That's kind of how you'll win a game, mostly. Most
yeah,
of the
that would be great.
time.
The first thing that I'm looking to change in this draft is the top lane matchup, because seriously, that Mundo, even though we spoke really sparsely about it, because there was so much action everywhere else on the map, Mundo was actually applying constant pressure on the side lane. Top lane, he was winning his matchup hard. Then he went bot, took the tier 2 tower all by himself, and eventually late game he was just a monster. Everyone saw that. So I'm looking to change the top lane matchup. First thing, I understand Sparker. The man doesn't have a huge champion pool like Galina Optimista does. Speaking of champion pool, Mundo gets banned away.
They do not want to be against that Mundo.
Adaptation, everybody. You can't kill the Mundo, just ban it.
But
So,
will CBA ban away the Vayne? And is it first
oh
pick
yeah,
worthy if they don't?
maybe CBA can actually let the Vayne slip through these drafts. I mean, they are focusing the supportive roles a lot. Vayne's open for now. Will it be the last ban?
We just have to wait and see. But they did ban away the Morgana, which they had a little bit of trouble with before. They
Vayne
will
is
ban
banned.
away the Vayne. And another bit of adaptation as well, banning away the J4.
Yeah, they are trying to ban away things that caused them some torments in the first game. But now it means that the previous bans are left open, and that's the cannon from Parker. So this time you do not have Parker on tank duty. You have Parker on the pick that he's famous for, the cannon. Now he can start to play and be a factor in this game.
We'll see if he's playing into that Aurelia or if he's playing that Aurelia in the middle lane. And either way, it's going to be interesting to see how Paco will play this cannon. Great for team fighting, unless he wants to go for that attack speed on hit sort of cannon, but we haven't really seen that in recent patches. Much more for the AP for team fighting and not really playing for the laning phase, but for kind of that mid to late game. But Braum didn't make it through the draft, and that will be in the hands of Can't Stop Duck.
Yeah, you have to feel bad for Alone, but he's going to get another one of his main eventually if the Thresh goes to Alone, because we've seen Alone swapping with Emitter to the jungle. So Alone, his three most played champions are the Braum, the Thresh, and the Pike. So now you have Jinx Thresh, which is a very powerful lane, even though Jinx is a hyper carry. This duo buys so much for your bot lane, but it only buys so much for your bot lane only. Because take that into account. You have Jinx and Thresh. Jinx is a hyper carry that wants to scale and has a weak laning phase. Thresh buys everything to her AD carry. It buys engage, disengage with the lantern, safety, and zoning. So it means that Jinx is almost completely safe unless they do a mistake. On the other side, though, it means that the Thresh has to stay bot, and every time he roams, he lets his AD carry in a very bad position, especially versus Varus Braum. Lots of hard engage on that one.
So much hard engage there. And especially if you have the jungler wanting to put pressure in the bottom side as well, because Jinx is such a low mobility carry unless she gets hyper. If Thresh, as you said, roams, then she's going to be a sitting duck in that lane.
Yep. Banning away Wheatfish Zoe, which is a pick he's been shining on. Yeah, so I think that's now. If you take a look at Braum, Varus, and Irelia, I think that maybe we could see a Sylas from Wheatfish. it's a pick that he's been really shining onto, and right now it's open. There are a lot of interesting ultimates to steal in the enemy team, so I'm thinking maybe he's going to get his hands onto this, especially if CBA decides to give the counter pick to the mid lane. Thinks it's not going to happen though, because with that Irelia, you want to make the doubt linger as much as possible.
Mhm.
Whether it's going to go mid or jungle, and they are going to grab the support. So obviously, at this stage of the game, you really don't know where the area is going, because mid we haven't seen it. I mean, Irelia has been a weaker pick recently, and the thing is, Galena Optimista has been playing her more than Poulsen in solo queue, but
Mhm.
on the other hand, versus the Ken, I don't think it's going to be a very good matchup for her, since her W doesn't block magic damages anymore, and the flawless duet is very hard to land versus a fast running ball of electricity.
Yes.
So it's
It's
going to be the
definitely.
Corki. That's a very safe pick, and now right now you are prepared to see the area go both mid or top. So Team Alpha are finally getting the draft they wanted, a good draft with actually safe or winning lanes. And this time, for now, you don't have a lane that's going to be very hard to win. And that's the Nunu in the jungle. Looks like it's for alone again, because he's picking the smites. So it's going to be Empclear on the Thresh, switching his summoners to Disco just a bit.
I hope he does switch them in the end, but in the last game he didn't have Smite until the very last second, so I'm sure he'll change it over. But we have Corki against the Vladimir. Vladimir, talk to me a little bit about this matchup.
So Vladimir into Corki is I'm gonna make it. It's basically gonna be a farm fest in the mid lane, because both Vladimir and Corki wants to get I don't know 3-4 items under their belts before they are ready to pop off. The only thing is though, Corki has a lot more kill potential during the mid game, because his item spice are easier coming earlier than the Vladimirs, and if you manage to play with your jungler, you can actually do so much more than a Vladimir and a Rek'Sai, because once you see the Rek'Sai tunneling towards you, you're just gonna Valkyrie away, and Vladimir and Rek'Sai, I don't think they have enough damages to get a kill instantly, even if Rek'Sai flashes Unburrow. Meanwhile, though, in the mid game, Vladimir is going to start to build up some kill pressure, because the Hemoplague accumulated with the damage from the Rek'Sai and the damage buff that the Hemoplague gives is gonna give this duo a lot of kill pressure. So maybe they can start doing something if Wheatfish spends his Valkyrie in the lane, or because he just flew away from a preceding engage. So this is
So,
how.
are we
Yeah.
expecting for Alone and Kingen to be putting all of their pressure towards this mid lane, try and snowball the Corki and the Vladimir, or do you think that maybe Alone might focus down towards the bottom side of the map, because Varus, Braum, even though it's not the easiest lane to gank, they're both low mobility as well.
Well, the thing is, Irelia has a lot of mobility, but her mobility comes from the presence of minions. You don't want to dive onto the minions if you have a cannon in your team. So that means Irelia is actually going to be not that much of a mobile champ to gank. One thing you have to take into account, though, is that Irelia can land the flawless duet super easily on a snowballing Nunu. So she actually has some potential to get out of gank alive. But it's going to be hard to pull off. We'll see if the individual skill of Galina Optimista is enough to do so. But the mid lane, however, I'm going to discuss of the bot lane last. So the mid lane, however, is just a no-go. You cannot gank Vladimir with Nunu, because the biggest snowball ever is so telegraphed that the Vladimir has enough time to go take a coffee and then come back and pull before the snowball actually hits him, even with the Predator on. So that ganking mid is actually not an option for Nunu. the best thing you could hope for is a counter gank, but there again, I think you lose the 2v2 because Nunu doesn't bring in that much damages compared to a Rek'Sai Vladimir with the Corki. So I think that Rek'Sai brings in a lot of strength in the 2v2, so Nunu should really avoid playing around that mid lane for now. Meanwhile, on the bot side of the map, you have a Thresh that can set up gank fairly well with a dense sentence or a flail. Remember that Braum likes to jump forward to land these frostbites. And you also have Varus that doesn't have any mobility. So you definitely want to gank the bot lane the most as the Nunu, especially when you consider that it's super easy to gank as Nunu on blue side in the bot lane. If you are red side, it's a bit more complicated because there you have to turn around in the tri-bush. There, you just have to rush in from the river, and that's it.
Well,
So
we'll
yeah.
see if that's where they want to actually focus, and that's where they'll put the pressure down. As we're just getting into the loading screen for this game. Interestingly enough, Kennen has decided to go with Spellbook instead of something a little bit perhaps more traditional. We've seen a lot of Kleptomancy on Kennen recently.
Yeah.
He decided to opt for something a little different.
Yeah, going for the utility here on the cannon, it also means that you can actually use the top pressure a bit more easily because you have two smites potentially. So that means you can herald a lot more easily paired with your jungler. So I'm looking forward to Team Alpha getting the Rift Herald, this time using it before 14 minutes, or I'm gonna get super angry and I will start to then get biased because that tells me off.
Well, we are on to the Rift for the second and potentially last game of the night
Look at
between
CBA though.
and Team Alpha, and CBA are looking for some level 1 shenanigans. It looks like the support and AD carry will be going towards this Tribush. Actually, it's just the Jinx going towards the Tribush. They could catch him out.
Pretty innovative path for an invade.
Wait, can they do it? We'll spot him out. Hits with the Winter's Bite, flashes away. They do get the early flash out of Noah.
Okay, so Jinx doesn't have a mobility at all, and you have Rek'Sai, so I think this is very good to actually get the flash off.
Oh, they're not done yet.
Yeah, Nunu, you're dancing!
Just go Nunu!
I thought he was a joke here, but he actually is really gonna run down this game. You never know what goes through the head of a jungler who was 5-0-2 when lost, and then proceeded to lose the game.
So, at least they didn't get anything else out of the side of Alpha. They only got one flash there, and they'll have that back up in just under 5 minutes now. If we look at the starting itemization, it's kind of a little bit telling, because we see the Dark Seal on the Vladimir, and that just feels like as if he wants to go for this early snowball, and that's where the pressure, as you said, will be given by Kingen.
Yeah, Dark Seal makes you want to snowball. Also, it is something that is very interesting because against the Corki, you'd think that a Doran Shield would actually be very good.
Yeah.
But because he's feeling so confident after this first game, he's going for the Dark Seal. Same matchup with a different game one. I think he would have picked the Doran Shield, but right now he's doing good in this mid lane. Also, he knows that his jungler has the advantage over the Nunu early, so good thing from him. You can see already Kingen going into the river.
Ooh, they're going aggressive in the bottom lane. Flay will buy them a little bit of time here. Mittler getting the stack of the concussive blows down to half health already. We'll trade a little bit back onto Can't Stop Duck, and interestingly aggressive from the bottom lane of CBA, but they don't really get anything for it.
Well, yeah, they're just taking advantage of the early level 2 here. This time, TAP had to leash their Nunu, so that means they didn't get the same lane prio they had in the game 1. Yeah, there's a bit of training.
Saw when they had the lane prio in game 1, they did nothing with it, and they ended up losing in that lane. They were down by 20-30 CS, even though they were up by 2 kills, and if they can't get lane prio here, then it feels like as if it's just a lost lane.
Yeah, and since Noah has a a history of having bad lanes. With so much engage and the pressure on the side of CBA, I feel like a lane gank on top of that? No, King, they are too far pushed for you to do something. It's just gonna back away for now, I think. Yeah, so I feel like Noah is gonna do a bad lane in this one, although he's pretty safe with the Thresh besides him. But that means they're not gonna get anything out of this lane.
Yeah, their
Whilst the
spidey senses seem to be tingling. They know that something is up, but they don't quite know what. But they're playing it really defensively here. Dashes forward, actually manages to land a 1-2 spite play. With the connecting of the Death Sentence will buy a little bit of time, but Noah will go down. First blood picked up by Can't Stop Duck. They're starting to go on a roll.
And that's a very well done gank. Like, I was actually amazed at how Bro managed to connect the Frostbite between all those minions. Wow. Even though the Death Sentence kind of predicted the flash from Kingen, the Jinx didn't have flash anymore, so that means she wouldn't be able to actually dodge the Unburrow, and the early damages from this bot lane just did the rest. That's a super well done lane gank. I was very dubitative to where it was going when Kingen came to lane gank, but they did it so well. The execution was on point here.
Yeah, unfortunately, it did go over to Can't Stop Duck rather than one of the carries of Kingen or the Varus for Vanguard, but it does give over 2 assists as well and helps the Braum get a little bit more online, get a bit more defensive items for to help out Vanguard either way, so it will be a little bit of extra gold in the pocket of CBA, and they are eking out a little bit of a lead at the 5-minute mark here, around just about 1,000 gold in their favor, and all the lanes are starting to get a little bit further ahead like we saw in the first game.
Yeah, CBA definitely finding small victories here and there. You can already see the farm defense. So hold on.
Ooh, misses with the Death Sentence. In comes the Nunu as well with the biggest snowball ever. Will not land the zap, but Winter's Bite will connect onto Noah just to try and push them away from this engage a little bit, but will lose out on their vision.
It's strange to me that Can't Stop Dog decided to go all the way around. I think it was more to lend some vision, but it feels still off to go this way when you do not know where the Nunu is, and you are expecting the Nunu to go to play around the bot side of the map, right? So definitely, I think I think that Vanguard could have kept his heal there if Can't Stop Dog had pathed a little better on his way back to the lane.
The weird thing I found about that gank there was they did it when they had the priority on the bottom side rather than waiting for Vanguard and Can't Stop Duck to actually regain the priority that they've had for most of the lane, and now they're going to go for a gank of their own, and they get the knockup because the teleport as well. Kingen is going to be the target, but Nunu is taking so low. Vanguard will be slicing Maelstrom onto 3. They have so much damage here, and the Corki made the roam as well. Flay will knock him back. This should be another quick kill going over to the Corki, and great roam and great teleport from the side of Alpha. They secure 3 kills on the board.
Parker reminding everyone why you should always ban Cannon versus Team Alpha. Oh god. We said it earlier, we said, hey, if you give these players their comfort picks, they're gonna take over the whole game with it. And there we go, Parker turns the game around. Varus had a curved bow, while Jinx only had two daggers in her inventory. So basically it was small victories here and there, but now if you look at the gold, it's even again, and now the Jinx will be able to just back off.
Well, you say that, it has to get the Dark Passage to safety, but almost got caught out there by the Braum, and they kind of didn't expect that amount of aggression, I think, and with no mana available as well. You see some trading in the top side. Paka is still comfortable on this cannon pick, even though he's behind a little bit.
Yeah, and because he picked up 3 kills in this action, he's not actually behind in terms of gold that much. Hold on, he's about to be.
Bro with the knockup. Paka is just gonna be taken down. Uses the Void Rush just for fun, make it look all shiny and good, but picked up by the Aurelia on the top side, and that's not what you want as the Kennen. You don't want this Aurelia to start getting kills because of the maneuverability, even though you have your Lightning Surge yourself for the added maneuverability. It's just gonna make your life a little bit harder.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in game one. I was. Oh, that's super aggressive. I think it
No,
might
he
be
should be
enough.
able to survive.
No.
Just about.
Do you know why actually? It's because of the cookies from the inspiration tree, combined with the corrupting pot. It actually gave him so much life back. It helps him survive.
And even with the flash, the hero plague, the ignite from Paulson just about survived. I think he was on less than 50 health there.
Yeah.
And that's a little bit of a tilter for Paulson because he didn't even burn a flash from Wheatfish.
Yeah, Witchfish kept his head cold, just Valkyried away, thinking, I have enough pots to actually survive that. So now he has his package back into lane, but if you take a look at the map, is there any lane? Is there any place on the map where you can actually get something out of the package? I'm doubtful.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like it, but he's pinging actually that he wants to come towards his bottom side where they still haven't given up the priority on the side of Alpha.
Alone is coming as well, also.
And they might be able to make something happen, but they do spawn him out on that river ward, so he'll just use a little bit of pressure in the middle lane. He'll be behind by maybe a wave of CS at this point, and Paka in a lot of trouble on the top side. Has a slicing maelstrom available if he wants to try and get some damage back onto Galena, but with this 1 kill and 30 CS advantage for Galena, he's just starting to do so much damage, and all that CC is not quite enough. And comes a Rek'Sai from the side, goes out the Void Seeker as well. Void Rush comes through, will secure the kill, but might give up his life underneath the tower. Will be played back and should be picked up here. Flash in by Alone, but has he bitten off more than he could chew? It looks like he has, as Vanguard will pick him up. We'll trade one back though, so that's a 2-for-1 so far, and looks like they're not going to go for much more.
And you know that Vanguard is super confident and very good at this Varus. He showcased it. Oh, can't stop duck.
He's actually going so aggro here. But
yeah,
he can't get anything in a 1v1. Not against a Braum.
He's just flexing, like, oh, you need to your
oh,
not flexing anymore.
Yeah, and the flash engage with the flame. Vanguard just gets blown up. That puts Noah on the board, gets the shutdown gold as well, and you just disrespected the long-range sniper potential coming out from the Jinx pick, and it just worked out so well. And then Midler, he just goes in and gets everything.
Yep, that's what you get for being cocky. Ah.
That actually just brought him straight back into the game. He's now 80 gold ahead of Vanguard.
Yeah. I mean, this bot lane is actually so back and forth. No one is really managing to get a real edge over anyone. But I think that this is about to change, as Varus has now completed his Blade of the Ruined King, so that's a real first power spike here. Vanguard's edge gonna miss.
Yep. Doesn't really do anything, but Slicing Maelstrom comes through, doesn't have the mana as well. One more auto attack will secure the kill in the top side. Burned her flash as well, so that's flash for flash, and Paka picks up a kill.
Yeah, you think that with the Tiamat and the Phage, she does have the pressure to actually proceed.
That's a flash aggressively, but both junglers are there. Who's going to go down first? It will be Vanguard, and Noah will pick that up, and comes the teleport as well. Noah on the side, trying to buy some time, trying to stay alive, as Kingen will go down for the double kill for Noah. He gets the Triumph passive. He gets excited as well. He knows he's carrying, and he gets some minions. And will get pressure on this tower.
And yeah, now I think that Team Alpha is either gonna get some gold from the platings, or they are at least gonna get a Drake, unless Alone is looking out for more.
Yeah, they're looking for it to go on the Braum as well. Can't stop Duck, getting the concussive blows onto Alone, but they're just gonna peel down for the tower now. It will be the first brick gold as well, going over to Noah.
And that is actually very good for them, because you know that Vanguard and Can't Stop Duck have the pressure in the lane, even though the Jinx just got 2 kills on this move. So taking the first tower here is not that much of a big deal, because they are gonna push the wave. That's what Varus do. And if they don't push the wave, then it means Alone is free to go around the map and do a lot of counter jungling. So that means either you you push and it is detrimental to your bot, or you don't and then it is detrimental to your jungler. So it's a win-win situation for Team Alpha. They are very happy with the way this goes for now.
Yep, and they're going to pick up the Rift Herald on the side of CBA as well. Lock trading in the middle lane will miss with his rocket, but the lane swap coming out from both these teams now, making sure that they rotate their bottom lane up towards this top side and try and continue that tower taking pressure that they have on the side of Team Alpha. But Rift Herald, as I said, was picked up by the side of CBA, so they might be able to do something with it. It's still pre-level, it's still pre-minute 14. They have 20 seconds to try and pick some of these tower plates up.
Well, it is a Herald pre-14. Hold on, he's...
They get one turret plate.
Yeah, just getting one, using it on the weakest turret out there, so... At least they did use it, so I'm not gonna get angry.
They did you proud, even if it's like the most minimum amount of damage that they did on the tower. It was pre-14.
They did it for me, you know. They really wanted to wait until 15 minutes to get it on the mid tower because it was about to fade out, but they were like, hey, maybe you can do that too for Sherlock.
They were just like, Sherlock, we know that Alpha didn't do you a solid in the last game, so we're gonna be your bros, we're gonna put it down for you. Pre-minute 14, just make sure that you're happy.
Yeah. So much attention, so much kindness. Very, very nice.
Much wow.
Much wow. You know what still amazes me is that after all of these actions down in the bot lane, they decide to swap, and I was saying, hey, it's a win-win situation to have taken the bot tower so early into the game, but then they lane swapped, and if you lane swap, you are back on the short lane, and then your bot lane does not win the matchup anymore. Hold on, Vanguard's edge available. We could see some all-in here.
No, neither really wanting to press this, pull this trigger just yet. We'll be back in a way. Braum making his way towards the bottom side, leaving Varus to get the solo gold and solo experience on the top side. Corki is responding to that, so it looks like they're just trying to establish vision around this Cloud Drake, trying to make sure that they can test any of these objectives.
Yeah, is the only objective right now on the map for CBA, so they are looking for it. You can see Kingen making his way down to the bot side of the map. Just speaking of the vision, look at that. I mean, you have sure you have a nice square of vision of blue control walls for TIP. That means whoever you send topside is going to be able to farm safely.
Vanguard Edge connects, goes through, Slicing Mesto comes out as well, but does he have the damage to try and get the kill back? Will just Blade Surge forward, but Duck is a little bit of trouble here. Weedfish trying to find something, but Poulsen is off to the side, so not going for the hard engage just yet.
Yeah, unfortunately, because you do not have that Triforce just yet, you don't have the damages to really get a kill here.
Yeah, Poulsen goes forward, Chain's Corruption lands, but it's on to not the one that you want, but we'll pick it up just for good measure. Vanguard picks up that kill, flash away, Kingen gonna try and go on to Noah here, uses the Void Rush, will have a lot of damage, but doesn't have enough just yet. Will secure the kill, get the shutdown gold. Weedfish has to use the Valkyrie to get to safety, throws out a rocket, but he just has his training force, he hasn't that much damage at this point.
Yeah, also you have you are 20 CS, you are about 20 to 30 CS down here, so looks like there is a pause right now. Wonder if it's related to the fight that just broke out.
Yeah, could be another little bit of lag issues. We've had it on the side of Alpha in the last game, so we'll update you guys once we find out. Usually they type it in the chat first, but right now, if we look at the game as it is, about 2,000 gold behind, give or take a couple of hundred gold on the side of Team Alpha. You're still winning for CBA. You have 1 tower to 1, so it's much more of an even game than we saw in the last one. But what do you have to do? What are the win conditions for both these teams?
Well, I think that's for Team Alpha. You actually want to get your item specs and play around them. So it's IE and Triforce for the core key, but it's not enough because you are behind compared to your enemy laner. So you want to get at least two or three items for the Corki. Maybe 2 items for the Jinx will be enough to actually team fight. And then when you are guaranteed that your picks can do something, because they are made to do so, you can play around them. And with the Nunu, the Cannon Ultimate, you can just wombo combo with the enemy team, get your damages out, and then force an objective. Even if you don't kill them, even if you don't kill them, it's fine. You just force the pressure on your side, and then you can pick an objective. Well, at 17-minute mark, I think that the Baron is coming in 3 minutes. I think that there is a Cloud Drake left to take. There are still 2 tier 1 towers to be taken down. So Team Alpha just have to pick an objective and play around it, because right now, with the lane swaps, the rotations, it looks like they don't really know where they want to play around. And I think that if they're shot caller, who used to be Pineys, by the way, so there again, his absence is really leaving his team behind. If you use that break time to just reset your mind, make a decision peacefully, and then execute it. Really play around it. You have to understand what you want and why you want to, and why you want it, and how you are going to get it. I think that this is how Team Alpha gets back into the game. And for the side of CBA, you already have the lead. You have a very strong mid game because Corki isn't online yet, while Vladimir can surely hold a side lane by his own. You have that Irelia that is actually 50 CS up compared to Paka, so you get that Irelia, you get that Varus, who is already with the Blade of the Ruin King, so that means he's gonna have a lot of sustain, some teamfight potential, a bit less poke than a lethality bleed, but I actually dislike the lethality on Varus because it falls off super hard.
Mm-hmm.
So you currently have your mid game power spice. So go on, just invade the jungle, get the pressure on the lanes. It still amazes me that the Drake is still up at the 17-minute mark, but it is understandable when you see how bot lane has been back and forth the whole game, and mid no one really had the pressure, so it is hard for junglers to actually get that Drake. Also, it is a cloud, so teams tend to not know how to use the cloud that much, so it is a lot less prio than any other type of Drake. But yeah, just play around objectives you want to take. Free the map for whichever pick you want to play around.
Yeah, it would be a pretty important Drake, I feel, for the Nunu, for his largest snowball ever, just to get a little bit more rotational ability, and even for Weedfish at that same time. And actually getting a lot of poke damage down onto Weedfish here in the middle lane. But they're trying to establish some vision, push forward a little bit of control, maybe arrest a little bit of control of this middle lane, because they still have to take down the middle lane tier 1 towers, but
yeah.
It's very back and forth. Neither team really wants to pull the trigger just yet.
Also, pulling the trigger this game is really hard. Like, last game you had that Jarvan that could go in super easily, you had the Ornn Horn that is maybe the easiest engage tool ever. And look at this game. Look at these two compositions. Where is your reliable engage? I mean, sure, you can flash in with the slicing maelstrom, but that's not that is not really a huge engage. That is more of a waste of that team fighting tool to me. So sure, they don't pull the trigger, but maybe they don't see how, because these two teams, they have a lot of damages and a lot of team fight power, but they lack the engage, and that means the engage is actually going to come from a positioning mistake.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Cloud Drake was picked up at the side of CBA, and the next Drake will be another Cloud Drake, so great for these team fights and all of the late game scaling that you'll want in life from Cloud Drakes.
I mean, since the engage is coming from a catch, you bet that the movement speed is going to be an important factor into that game. Just for the support, you don't want to get caught while warding, and that these Cloud Drakes allow you to spend much less time in the jungles and between the lanes. Hold on, could see an all-in here.
Yeah,
Just a
might
little bit
do.
of trading. That's
If he
heavy
gets the
trading
Hemo
though.
Plague, he might be able to get something there. Almost has his
Yeah.
Ignite available as well, so...
So yeah, basically the Cloud Drake is super important for both teams. As you mentioned, the Cloud Drake is super good on Nunu. It is also very useful for both Parker to get in position for the flanks and for Wheatfish. And on the side of CBA, you have also the Vladimir that wants to get in position for the flank. And Irelia is a split pusher, a very strong split pusher. That means with a Cloud Drake, she's actually going to be able to rotate much faster.
So all around, you want to contest this next Cloud Drake if you're on the side of Team Alpha, or if you're a Team Alpha fan, that's exactly what you want to see them do.
Yes.
And actually, Paka being run out of the lane by Galena just doesn't have the tools to fight him right now.
Well, the problem is that Galena just completed her Triforce, and now with Triforce and Tiamat, Paka cannot face her, even though he's actually 2-1 and 2. These 50 CS that's between them is actually doing so much work, and Paka he just cannot stand the Irelia in the side lane. He should have the tools to do so with the movement speed to dodge the flawless duets. But we've seen Galena being so good at landing these that it actually spins the lane around.
Actually establishing some vision around this Baron pit now, uses Square's Bloom just to spot out that control ward there, and this is going to be the next hotly contested objective, and we're expecting it to be contested from both teams depending on who wants to start it off, but it's firmly in the grasp of CBA right now in terms of vision.
Yeah, if you pay attention to that vision, there is basically none on the side of TAP. And you have the Irelia split pushing in the bot side of the map, having the pressure on the matchup, so you can't really start the you cannot really collapse onto her because else it gives away the Baron basically. And remember that Varus on hit effect, his passive deals a lot of damages to the Baron with the BRK, with the Ginzu. He's gonna depup that Baron.
Yeah.
So you have to monitor it closely. And this I find amazing that TAP is not actually making the slightest move to regain the Baron vision. You can see alone sitting there in the mid lane for the past 30 seconds.
It just feels like they're trying to feel out what their opponents are trying to do. They don't want to over-aggress and just lose a team fight. They're already 3,000 gold behind, 3,500 gold behind.
All alone.
And yeah, he's all alone, caught out.
Yeah, that could have been the court we were talking about. I think that the Brom ultimates into maybe a couple of wars to prevent the Lantern. Sure, it's hard to pull off, but it is possible.
And you could have used the Void Rush from Kingen as well if they wanted to really go aggressive. Just stopping the back there for a little bit of BM, make sure that he stays in the lane and tries to deny him a little bit more CS.
Yeah. Also, if you just force the Nunu to back because he's too low to stay, I feel like you can actually start the Baron, force the opposing team to run towards you, and then you are in friendly territory and you can fight and actually take advantage of that fight. So I think that definitely should have engaged here. But right now there is the second Cloud Drake coming in, so you can see both teams slowly rotating towards the bot side of the map, where there is absolutely no vision whatsoever.
No vision from either team, oddly enough. Now they're just going to try and clear away some of this vision towards this Baron pit, establish some of their own a little bit, but here's the engage with the Chains of Corruption, gets a knock up with the Glacial Fissure. Duck will pick up the first kill with the fight alone, is all alone there, and Vayne God picks up that kill. Slice of Maelstrom doing a lot of damage, but it isn't enough just yet. Goes golden to buy a little bit of time. We'll get the knock up though, and Kingen will pick up the kill. And that's 3 kills going over to the side of CBA, and they are onto the Baron. It's going to take a miracle for Wheatfish and Hitler to try and contest this.
I don't think they actually can. If they do, they will end up sure dying here. Valkyrie away. That's gonna be the Baron for CBA. As we said, if you manage to get a nice catch, it is the only engage you can hope for. And there we go. No oversteps. Just overstepping one toe onto the mid lane, and it's immediately the flash into Chains of Corruption, and you're dead. The whole team was collapsing. You could right before the play, you could already see the pings from both teams onto that mid lane, and because the team fight actually started in the favor of CBA, it was an easy team fight win for them.
But look how far behind everyone is except for the Jinx on the side of Team Alpha. You have the Aurelia who's 70 farm up, you have 50 farm difference between the two junglers, you have 30, 35 farm difference between the two mid laners. It is just dire straits for the side of Team Alpha. There's 7,000 gold behind almost. It's almost like a repeat of the first game, even though they had a better early game on the side of Team Alpha.
Yeah, I mean, they sure managed to find some opportunities in the early game to get a lead onto that Corki, especially. Now it's gonna be
collapse. Vanguard's edge got used. Got a blade surge forward. Might be able to pick up a 1-for-1 here, but that's a great death sentence, and Mettler will pick up that kill and almost had the opportunity to trade one back onto Weedfish, but it was a great collapse, a great pick. They might be able to pick something else up here in the middle lane. Doesn't have the.
That's a lot of damage.
Now he does, and Paka in a lot of trouble here. Zap will be dodged away from as well as the Q, but oh, the Hemo Plague had enough damage. GA, he can just dive this tower for days if he wants to. Just trade back this tower aggro a little bit too early on your death sentence there. Valkyrie Use will miss with the Super Mega Death Rocket as well, and Rek'Sai, even though he went so ham, managed to get away. Bane God will be picked up by the Nunu. Now, actually, the kill credit will go over to Weedfish here instead. Can't Stop Duck uses the Unbreakable just to try and piece out with the rest of his team. And that's a sloppy dive coming out from CBA, but they're that confident that they want to try these sort of plays.
Yeah, it is indeed a mark of greed right here. I mean, just in their itemization, you can see how greedy they are. Like, the Vladimir has transformed his Darkseer into the Magi Soul Stealer. Vanguard is currently sitting on Malmortar, so a bit of respect shown towards the heavy magic damage, heavy lineup of Team Alpha. But generally speaking, you don't see that much of defensive itemization coming through CBA. And that dive just... it doesn't feel like they lost that much momentum off of that dive. Sure, they dropped a couple of Baron buffs, but that one was about to fade away anyway.
No, there's still almost 7,000 gold ahead. I don't think they lost too much off of it.
Yeah.
But here comes another collapse slicing Maelstrom comes through. We'll get the stun, double stun there. Vanguard's edge too little too late. Paka picks up that kill, and Zap will connect on the King in there to get just a little bit of a slow. Might be able to continue stemming the bleeding a little bit, try and come back into this game and make sure that they can maybe get to this late game point where they're feeling comfortable with the Corki, with the Cannon, and with the Jinx.
Yeah. These repeated catches on the Aurelia are actually very good for Team Alpha because it allows them to release some pressure from the shoulders of Paka and to enable him for the team fights. But when you are coming when you are coming back mid, your positioning is awful and you have to go all the way around, so you eventually lose the tower. So it is indeed patching the bleeding, but how do you heal the bleeding? That's the real question.
Oh, you're the color caster, you tell me?
Well,
is there a way to
the color caster is currently thinking, because we have seen CBA doing mistakes like this dive. In the first game they took an awful Drake fight, and I think that if CBA does another huge mistake like that, it could be this one.
Ooh, yeah, this could be it. Flashes away, still has the heal, but he gets double stunned up. Corki is there as well. Valkyrie forward, gonna try and get the kill over to him, and he will pick it up. almost picked up the kill onto the Nunu, but it was a great teleport in by Paka just to make sure his jungler stays alive.
Yeah, and Galena Optimista is still taking something back in the top side of the map. Got that tier 2 tower off, so it's going to be even harder to contest for that Baron when he respawns. So
Just
eventually,
they're being out-rotated every time they pick up a pick, but then they lose a tower.
yeah, because they are so much behind that they actually need to be 3 or 4 on a single target to actually take it out. Hold on.
Another pick onto the Aurelia. Vanguard's edge used, but he's going to go down so quick here, and Paka will pick up that kill, and now they can push towards this Baron pit, make sure that they can establish some visions, arrest some control around this objective, and maybe push Kingen and the rest of his crew away.
Yes, this is a pick at a super good timing for Team Alpha. They can actually contest for the Drake. It's an infernal one. It's going to be very useful with 3 members of their team stacking AP or AD. Super valuable, especially in the mid game.
Oh, they need to take this right here, right now. It's an Infernal Drake slicing Maelstrom onto 3 here. It does so much damage, and they stole the Infernal Drake. And that's exactly what you want for CBA, and Alone is all alone once again on the backside. He's gonna stay alive just barely as the ace comes through. You picked up the Infernal, but you lose the team fight, and they are gonna pick up the Baron.
And that is a huge CBA mistake I was talking about. If you look at if you consider the action they just
he just
oh my god, no, that's actually very bad.
That is so bad, and Mettler is still low here right now as well.
I think they're still gonna get that Baron because Irelia is definitely not going to contest it, and you do have damages from the Corki and the Jinx. So there again, CBA. If you look at the action around the Drake, you don't. It is actually better to concede this Infernal Drake and stay alive than engaging for a very bad fight at this timing while you are outnumbered and impaling yourself into that team at this timing, because so much is available for Team Alpha to do right now. So Team Alpha, they patch the bleeding by getting that Baron buff. And this is going to be so impactful. Like, Galena Ultimista will not be able to do as much work as he did in the split push because of that Baron buff. Now, Team Alpha actually have pressure to siege onto the enemy towers, while they weren't able to approach it beforehand. You can see how much of a turnaround it is for this game.
It feels desperate in how they're playing right now from CBA, because they threw out the Chains of Corruption to try and find something. They still lost the tier 1 tower in the middle lane, and even though that's only the second tower picked up by Team Alpha, they feel firmly in the driver's seat at this point, even though they have no pressure in the top side. They have a little bit of pressure in the bottom lane for themselves. They have this Baron empowered push on 4 members, and they're doing a lot of work with it.
Yeah, and as we said before, there is a little, so little engage on the side of CBA. So losing that Chains of Corruption that plays such a vital part of your team fight. Remember, the Jinx got caught mid lane because of it.
Oh, here's the engage. We'll mess with the Defiant Dance here, as well as the Flawless Duet. Goes golden underneath the tower, but Alone is going to go down here. Duck will pick that up, uses the ultimate from the Jinx, but doesn't have enough damage. Resurrection comes through from the side of Kingdom as Vanguard picks up a kill onto the Thresh. Weedfish going to be taken down as well. Shutdown goal goes over to Duck, and that's a mistake. Caught out underneath the tower. Too aggressive from Team Alpha, and they got so heavily punished by CBA.
Far too aggressive and far too uncoordinated, it feels like. As soon as Parker went in, the Glacial Fissure completely zoned out the rest of the backline, and Parker and Alone found themselves, well, alone during that team fight.
And
now they are looking to close the game.
It's only Noah available to try and defend this. Chains Corruption did not hit, but the Winter's Bite will. Concussive blows. He's on the fountain, but he's gonna die anyway, and that will be the second game. That will be the series. One mistake, heavily punished, and CBA come out 2-0.
They had a chance for Team Alpha. They had a chance, and it was still not enough. CBA came in strong with Vanguard, both times on Varus. that means they got to show, they got to not show what they know to do that much. So it means that they will be facing either, I think, Glorious Gaming or Royal Reapers, if I'm correct.
Yep, you are 100% correct. They'll be facing one
And
of them on the 30th or the 1st.
yeah, so that means we're gonna have to see how well they do in these games. They were a bit wacky in the early games versus Team Alpha, although Team Alpha is a very proactive team in the early game. GG, I feel like, is
Yeah.
a lot more passive in the early to mid game,
Mm-hmm.
and then they start to really out rotate their opponents. And Royal Reapers, on the other hand, is like super dominant on all stages of the game. So we're gonna have to see how well they do versus opponents that either let them play through the early game or try to completely to completely destroy them in the early game and then snowball it without doing much mistakes that, for example, could give them a chance, like they did versus Team Alpha.
Well, it seems like, well, from those two games there, you have to beat them in the early game and keep that lead throughout the entire game, because we saw in the first game, Team Alpha had the lead to 3,000 gold, but they
Yeah,
kept losing out on the CS, and they kept losing out on these little trades in the lane. And that just helped them get back into the game and then just completely stump.
yeah, I think that, uh, and just to catch up on what you were saying, on this game, they did not even have especially hard losing matchups on the side of Team Alpha, and yet they still did lose on CS. So I am wondering, if they are facing better opponents, will they still be able to keep up with the macro of these guys? We'll get to see next time we see them.
We definitely will, and that will be it from us, unfortunately, for today. But you can tune in tomorrow at the same time of 7 o'clock CET or 6 o'clock GMT for Lao Ganma versus Sea Dogs in our other quarterfinal for that last spot against either Royal Reapers or Glorious Gaming. And then that will be next week for the semifinals, and then the week after will be for the finals. So thank you very much for watching, everyone. I'd like to thank my co-caster Sherlock Davari for casting
Thank you
with me.
very much as well.
And
Love.
I'd like to thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye bye.